Base has been going for 175 on Xbox. Saren lucky to get 350, best case scenario. Yeah, I honestly, I have one Saren set left, and ultimately what's going to happen is the longer it takes me to sell Saren, the more Saren frames, the less Saren frames are going to exist, and the more likely everyone else is going to have to crack. Is that like you get
500 plat?
Like, do you get what I'm saying with supply and demand? Like, the only reason Loki isn't 500 platinum because he's S tier frame. He's 500 platinum because he's been out of the game and not farmable for so long that it's really hard to find a Loki set. He's not, people aren't just throwing him around left and right. There's not a lot of him left. That's the reason why he's 500 platinum minimum on the market. And if I have to wait for that to happen to Saren, then I will. And if some timing thing happens where, like, let's say the next Unvaulted frame in a month from now is Loki and Saren, and it happens before I wound up getting rid of the last Saren set that I have, then I'll wait. I'll wait again. But I get the value of things. I get the value of things. I understand how time works. I understand. This game is going to be in beta until 2035. So how many more years is left until that? 14 years until 2035? And at the current rate with the amount of frames that are in the game, we're seeing these frames that have gotten vaulted take a couple of years at least to come back. And the fact that they keep adding more and more frames to the game, yet they haven't changed their method, which they might, and I heard them say something about how they might do that. With the current method of the way things are happening in the game, that would mean that up until 2035, that's at least, or at most, that's it at most. No, at least or most. Hold on. Every 2 years-ish, let's say 2.5 years for funsies. So that's 10 years, that's 4 times in 10 years. That's at least 5.5 to 6 times that I can wait around on a Saren set before I sell her for a price that I feel that she's good for. I also want you guys to understand, like, I also understand that there is a risk because DE at any moment could change the way the game works. DE could say, okay, once a year, and they talked about this. They might be doing this, but they didn't really elaborate on it. So nobody really knows what they're talking about. But they might, and I'm guessing here, do something like an event once a year where they let you guys go after any prime frame that you want. I like that idea because that doesn't royally fuck the prices of every frame in the game. Because in order for that to happen, that would mean that for the short time that the event is live and you can go and get relics for any frame in the game that you want, that means that in order for the prices on every frame in the game to get fucked, you would have to individually be able to farm every one of those frames out during that event, during that short time frame of an event, even if it's a month or 2. You cannot farm out that already with how many prime frames there are in the game. A month or 2 is not enough time for you to comfortably farm out enough sets in the game to where you're going to exponentially lower the cost of how much these frames cost because you significantly are boosting the supply that's in existence. There is not enough people that play this. Back to the drawing I made with the circles and how people join and leave every so many months. They'll play it for so many months and then leave. There is not enough people playing this game consistently for long enough for that event to make a big enough difference in the cost of every frame because it's not going to increase the supply that heavily.
I don't think that's going to happen until it's closer to 2035. Probably looking at 2030, they may do that because of the amount of prime frames we'll have in the game then, sure. And after 2035, yeah, I see them doing that as a yearly event. Because the amount of prime frames
I can only see them doing it as a yearly event because I don't think they actually want to see people charging more than, I think 500 I don't think is that bad on platinum, but I think that they don't want to see people, brand new players coming to their game and then going, oh my god, it's going to cost 1,000 platinum for a Loki set? Oh my god, it's going to cost 2,000 platinum for a Loki set? I don't think they want to see numbers that high on the frames, and I feel like part of what they're doing, I don't think that's the full reason they're doing it. I think it's a piece of the pie. Because they do want the player base to be happy a brand new person coming to the game and seeing a frame go for 1,000 to 2,000 platinum, I think is only a piece of why they're doing it. But at the end of the day, that would take at least 3 to 4 years for that to happen. So that they would have to bring the frame back. Just think about it. What's the highest frame in the game? Like, what's the most expensive frame in the game? We just talked about it.
It'd be Loki.
Loki. What did they bring back for TennoCon? Loki. They let everybody everybody that was at TennoCon got a Loki. And why? Not because I think they know better, but because I think they're still testing, to be honest. I think Loki was a test for TennoCon. I think they were like, let's give everybody Loki and then see what happens to Loki's price.
And it didn't change.
It didn't really change at all. And then, like, he's still expensive. He's not necessarily climbing as fast as he was. He slowed down a lot on how much he's increasing. But
give it 2 years.
But yeah, give it another year or two. I don't think it'll take that long. Honestly, I think they're going to bring him back even sooner, though, because he's still at that high price. I don't think they satiated the taste of everybody in the game that still wants a Loki set. And that's why the price is still so high. So they're probably going to bring him. I still think they're going to bring him back sooner or later, because that's what I think is the smart thing to do. And this is, how do I word this? This is me saying that not in my own best interest. Like, or from a, no, I should word that differently. I don't have a best interest in this game. I'm totally fine in the amount of plat that I have. I'm happy and comfortable playing this game. Like, it's fine where it is. But I think from a person's point of view of like, from greed or selfishness or narcissistic, whatever behaviors or whatever, they would want Loki to not come back for a long time so they can keep making a killing off him. They would not want Saren to come back. So me being non-biased and putting myself in the position of the developer's point of view, thinking that like I would want my new players to be able to get their hands on whatever frame they fell in love with. And if that happens to be a Loki or a Saren, those are the really high ones in price right now. That's what the fuck I would be putting back. That's what I would be giving back to my player base. With the whole not giving a concern about the fucking greedy, selfish cunts about that are in my community. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but like, that's why I think it would be wise for them to bring Loki and Saren back, and why it's still my guess that they would. Because I'm assuming when I say that, or I make that statement, that DE gives a shit about their player base. And they want us to be happy.